everybody. I know it is the beginning of February, but it is time to start thinking about spring and Easter, which is why we are going to be making this Happy Easter wreath tonight. This is a kit that is available in my shop. If I say it, social media does not like it, so it will throttle me. So it is my business name, followed by a period, followed by the 3 letters that are usually how a website ends, right? Period, C-O-M. There we go. All right, so this kit comes with everything that you need, including the instructions, which I'm actually recording right now above me. So you're going to get everything in this kit. It starts off, this is the centerpiece of the whole thing. It is our Happy Easter sign. So cute. Look at the sparkle on that. I love the sparkle. So cute. We're going to be doing this on a very large, not very large, but a larger wreath frame. So this is called a 15 to 25 inch OAD work wreath form. And these little spots right here, these little, we call them tinsel ties. This is where the mesh goes in now, because these are real thin. Some are thicker. These are thinner. So this is called a pencil work wreath form. Okay, so we're going to put all of our mesh into here. Now there are 18 spots on here. There are 10 on the bottom and 8 on the top. So I have already pre-cut my mesh. I will show you the mesh we are working with. It comes in the kit. This is poly jute metallic mesh. All right, so let's take a look at this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. All right, so this is the jute. So it's kind of like that burlap type of material. And then it's got these metallic stripes in here, which I thought were really, really cute because I'm trying to make the little metallic pop, right? This pink glitter line, that's kind of the focus. So we're going to have ruffles of this in here as well as white. All right, so I wanted to kind of brighten it up a little bit and balance it out, so I'm adding some white. So we're going to have those two as our mesh. Okay, and put that down in there. I have pre-cut all of this. I pre-cut the entire roll of 10-inch mesh at 18 inches a piece. What that's going to do is give me 19 pieces of mesh. I only need 18, so I will have an extra just on the rare off chance that there is a splice or a cut in the middle of a piece where they kind of meld 2 different rolls together. I've only seen that happen 2 or 3 times the entire time I've been making wreaths. But we want to make sure I have extra. So 18 pieces cut at 18 inches a piece. So we've got those. And then the ribbons, let me bring the sign back out, because the ribbons we have to go with it are just awesome, okay? We have, this is a pink, it's like a mini glitter. It's not, this glitter doesn't come off, all right? It's just, it's kind of like baked into the fabric, so it's glittery. But this is where we get the glittery from the ears. This totally matches what's on the ears. I love that. And then to match the bunnies, we have this blue. We got blue there at the egg. So we have our blue bunny. I am going to cut some more of these tails. I'll show you how to do that with that roll. And then I also cut 18 tails of this. Now I cut my tails at 14 inches a piece. Now if you want a really big juicy bow full like lot of like 1.5 inch, maybe don't cut the whole roll. I did opt to make tails out of the 1.5 inch. You don't have to do that. All right, so we have ribbon remaining on here, quite a bit. We have our tails that we're going to have to cut. And then it also comes with 2 of these cable tie mounts for the sign, but also inside the roll will be this. This is a cardboard roll, okay? Hold on to this because we might want to attach the signs using staples and cardboard to make it more secure, or you have this option. So, you know, you can pick. And then you get 3 pipe cleaners with this as well. So that is what comes in tonight's kit. And good morning, Lori from Delaware. Awesome. Hope it's going good over there. Hope it's warming up. It is still cold here in Chicago. Okay, so what I want to do before I even get into the meshes, I want to finish cutting all the materials. So I'm going to finish cutting the ribbon. Okay, so as I said before, all of these ribbon tails are cut at 14 inches long, and then we dovetail it. So I still have to cut 8 more tails. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, I have a board here, so I can wrap it around there, but you can just roll it down on something where you can measure it and just cut them by hand. You don't have to have these fancy tools, okay? You can have just nice and simple tools. But I'm going to do 8 of these, so I'm going to wrap it around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And then I still have enough left on the roll to make a bow, okay? And we're going to talk more about this particular ribbon when we go to make the bow, because this is directional ribbon. All right, so what I'm doing is, I've got this loop here. I'm just going to cut it at the top and bottom. Then that one giant loop turns into 8 pieces of ribbon, okay? Here we go. All right, so I'm going to separate them out 4 and 4, okay? Now we're going to dovetail it. So I'm going to kind of like stack it there to make sure everything is nice and flush. We're going to bend our wired edges together, okay? The wired edges are coming together, and then we are going to cut inside toward the outside. We're going to cut like that on an angle toward the wired edge, and then when you're done, you have, look, it is a very pretty V shape, okay? I'm going to do the same on the other side. Here we go. Cutting this way, and here we go. Okay, and then that gives us the last of our pieces. Oh, you know what? I don't like that edge. I'm going to cut this a little bit sharper. There we go. I like that. Okay, I'm going to check my connectivity just briefly. Give me just a moment to make sure everybody can still see. Yes, everything's good there. Facebook is, FB is not working for me right now. So I'm wondering what's going on there. Looks like you on the tuber over there are doing good. Okay. This is kind of weird. Give me just a second. Broadcast is waiting for a signal. I am trying. We are trying. Attempting to reconnect. I think I have too many things going at once. Too many things going at once here, guys. So I think I'm going to have to disconnect one. Let me see which one I'm going to disconnect. Let me see. I think I might disconnect the Tube of You. Okay, if you're on the Tube of You, go check me out over on Facebook, the Book of Faces. Okay, I will be over there. Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. Hopefully that will help. Well, I've learned that my Wi-Fi can't handle that. All right. I think we are back in business now. Okay, so I'm going to show that again. We're going to dovetail these last 4 ribbons. I'm going to put the edges together, okay, and cut toward the wires. Make sure you have good, nice, sharp scissors. If they're not super sharp, then you don't have to cut them in such a large stack. You can always cut 1 or 2 at a time, right? Because you want nice, sharp ends over here. All right. See, like, I don't like that. I think I'm going to have to end up getting sharper scissors before I make my next wreath. Okay, there we go. All right. So now I have 18 tails of each of these kind, all cut at 14 inches apiece. I've got my Easter sign, which we're going to deal with later, so I'm going to put that one off to the side for now. Okay, it's good over there. My board goes over here. I'm going to take these ribbons and move them onto my bow maker. Okay. We will bring that back later. Bringing it back later, but for right now, I'm going to move all this kind of out of the way, stack it up to the side. I don't want to knock it over. I'm notorious for knocking things right off the back. Okay, so we're going to start with our mesh. Okay. Well, actually, first we're going to take the tag off. There we go. Okay. We're going to add the mesh. We're going to make what's called a cruffle. Okay. I'm going to show you with the beige one. Okay. Oops. I don't even know where the end of the roll is. Here we go. Oh Lord, what a mess. Okay. So what we have here is that piece of mesh. You're going to see it naturally wants to curl up, right? It wants to do that curl. So we're going to let it. We're going to stretch this out. I'm going to bend the end down 1, 2, 3 times. I bend it down about 1 inch. Then I bend it up from the bottom 1, 2, 3. It's just curls. Okay, so we've got our curls That's the cur part of the cruffle. And then we're going to ruffle it. So we're going to go straight up. See this blue metallic stripe in the middle? That's our guide. We're going to go straight up that. Okay? So we have our cruffle. It is a curl and a ruffle, and it looks like a bow tie or a piece of farfalle pasta. We're going to open up a set of ties right down here, and I'm just going to set it in there and then just give it a light twist. I'm going to open that back up in a minute because I'm going to add in a white one. Now, you can decide how you want to add in your mesh. Okay, you can put white all on the bottom and then put the jute cruffle over the top, or you can alternate which one is on top. I personally like to alternate which one is on top. So for right now, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 up from the bottom, 1, 2, 3 down from the top, cruffle it up the middle, open my set of tines, and we're going to put that right in here. Now, I want to kind of make an X shape with it. I don't want it right on top of each other. That doesn't give much coverage. So we're going to kind of tilt that one that way, this one this way. See how it's kind of making an X shape then? And that gives us a lot more coverage. Now push it down onto the metal so you get a nice, good twist, but this is not our final twist. We will be opening that back up to add in our ribbon tails later on. Okay? You know what? I think I'm going to change how I want to do this. I think I want to try putting my white on the bottom and this on the top around the whole wreath. I'm going to mix up how I do it. I'm sick and tired of doing the same method the same way all the time. So let's try this. Let's see if we like this better, right? We might. We very well might. Here we go. I think I like having that on the top better. So I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to do white on the bottom and then the jute on the top. So I'm going to go all the way around. Okay. Now, if you're watching this on a replay, up, down, up from the bottom, down from the top. If you're watching this on a replay and you've done this before, you can skip this step. All you're going to do is hear me yammer on about stuff. So you don't really need to hear that. 1, 2, 3 up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3 down from the top. And cruffle. You could make larger cruffles if you wanted to. You can make them longer, but the problem you then come into is you're not going to have enough from one roll. Okay, so that's why 18 inches will give you enough for one roll. Or maybe you just want bigger cruffles on the bottom and you don't want to do 2 sets. That's an option as well. All right, this is just how I like to do it in these kits. Here we go. I have lots of kits available in my shop. I've got Easter. I'm going to be taking pictures of what I'm calling a deluxe patriotic one. It's got florals and picks and greenery in it, so that's going to be a fantastic one. I'm going to take the pictures tomorrow. That one should be listed soon, but we have Easter every day. We've got like a blueberry one that's great for spring, summer. Tons of Halloween, Christmas. I've got a cat kit. I've got a dog kit. All sorts of super fun wreath kits. It comes with everything you need. And it also comes with written instructions, because I know not everybody deals well with watching a video. They want to see a paper in front of them. They can check it off. They can go back and refer to it. So yeah, it comes with written instructions too. This one will have instructions very specific to this kit. But other ones, they have like general instructions, because a lot of the wreaths, the process is the same. The only thing that's different are the materials that you're using. So if the process is the same, then, you know, why reinvent the wheel? You know, it's out there. It's just your mesh and your ribbon and sign are going to look a little different. But it really depends on, is it a thin wreath or thick wreath? And what is the shape of your sign? And sometimes, too, what kind of bow do you want to make? So you could always make a bow from a different project if you like that style better. Right? You want longer tails. You want to use some 4-inch ribbon that you might have. You know? Tina, hello. Tina is watching. Awesome. Tina's my local buddy. I hope you're doing good tonight. It is finally warming up. I went to my storage unit today, and I was able to actually like get stuff out of my unit without completely freezing. So that was nice, but it did drip water all over my head. So here we go. All right. So we're almost halfway on the bottom here. Okay. This is a fun one. I love glittery, sparkly stuff, even for Easter. Some people don't like the glitter, and I've got kits, like there's a yellow Happy Easter Chick kit out there that does not have any glitter, or like it's not not shiny. But I like the shine, because life is better with glitter, my friends. Life is always better with glitter. Here we go. Now with the jute, sometimes when you cut it, you're going to get like little tiny pieces of it floating through the air. So that's not unusual. Sometimes I'll feel like I've got a hair stuck in my mouth, and it turns out it's a piece of this. Here we go. So as I'm putting this in, you'll see that I'm typically trying to keep the X's going the same way. So the beige is always going from the top left down to the bottom right. I just like to do that for consistency, but you don't have to. It's whatever you like. It's your wreath, my friends. This is your creation. I give you the tools, but it's up to you what you want to do with it. Here we go. Awesome. You can add in, so this kit does not come with greenery, but you can add in some greenery if you'd like. I have some in my shop. We call it 60919. That was the old SKU number. It's basically just a really great multi-purpose mixed filler bush. So it's got all sorts of different types of leaves and little floral buds and berries in there, and it's a nice quick way to add a lot of variety into it just using a single stem. So I have it in my shop. I've got pink, yellow, blue and white, red, white, and blue, candy corn colors, white. And then I just went to my supplier today and I picked up a bunch more. I'm so excited. It is in the garage though. I haven't opened it up yet. I have to go get another shelving unit tomorrow from Menards because I'm trying to organize better how I have it laid out, so I can get to the items easier and faster so that shipping goes quicker. I do typically ship, my shipping time is within 1 to 3 business days. And I've never once been late on a shipment. I did have one get lost by UPS, but they found it and they made sure that it got to one of my best customers. So I was very relieved to find that actually showed up. There's nothing scarier than making something and this was custom. It was custom for someone, and then UPS is like, yeah, we don't know. But then they found it. And all was right with the world. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Trying to watch. I've got mesh right in front of my keyboard, so I'm trying to watch comments, but it makes it kind of hard when I'm getting mesh blocked. I guess that's the thing. I'm getting mesh blocked. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Using kits is fun though, because sometimes people aren't sure what kind of materials to put in there, or they're like, I don't want to keep a lot in storage. I just want to be able to just send me what's in the kit, and I can just make that and not have extra stuff laying around because maybe they don't have a lot of space. So that's why kits are fun. They're easy. And I know the thin ones sell very well up in the states that have rough weather because we all have storm doors, right? Ugh, drives me nuts. But yep, storm doors here in the Midwest. Now this one is not for a storm door. This is a nice chunky kit, right? So it's kind of like me. Girls got a little bit of extra fluff going on, right? Nothing wrong with that. More to love. Just more wreath to love. Here we go. Okay, so we are just making these cruffles and putting them in here. I don't know why my FB feed keeps freezing up. I don't understand. Hopefully everything is looking okay for you. It could be how it's just displaying on my computer, because I don't think my daughter's streaming. I asked her not to because I told her I was going to suck up all the Wi-Fi bandwidth. So I don't think it's that. I think it's I was trying to go on too many platforms at the same time. So I'm keeping the TT and the FB. So we'll see. But I do have a YT channel as well that has all my videos backed up there. I've got a whole playlist full of the library of wreath kits as well as lots of other projects. Here we go. And I go live on FB every Monday at noon Central. We do a quick little project. Last Monday we decoupaged some wood, like a wood Easter egg and like a bunny that were kind of like a shelf sitter kind of thing. So it was my first time decoupaging live. I learned a lot. I learned about what not to do. Make sure that your brush is washed and not stiff. You know, sometimes we like things stiff, but that was not one of them. So it taught me a lot of what to do, what not to do. I know people decoupage like attachments that you want to put into your wreath too, so that's always fun. That's where I learned to decoupage, was at a Max John event. It was Fright Fest, and we did it on a pumpkin, and it was super fun. Okay, I have done the outside. I've done all 10 pieces on the outside. This is how thick this is. Okay, that's the thickness. Okay, we are measuring currently right now at about 26 inches, so that's going to be the width of this. The depth currently is at like 6 inches. It is going to get deeper, my friends, because we're going to go add on this next layer right on top. So there's 8 pieces that we're going to add on top. So let's get that going. All right, coming up from the bottom, come down on the top. Now you may see little stray pieces kind of poking out, okay? I call these chin hairs because they remind me of the white chin hairs I have on the bottom of my chin, which I pluck every night with a mirror before I go to sleep. But it's normal to find those. It's deco mesh. It's going to happen. So we just snip it. Just pluck that hair. Pluck that hair. Okay? Again, we're coming up 1, 2, 3 from the bottom. 1, 2, 3 from the top. Sometimes people will use, if you have a bow maker and you want to cruffle it up and set it in there temporarily and then cruffle and put both in at once, people like to do that as well. I think if you have the Bodabra, you could kind of do something like similar to that as well with the Bodabra. I like to just go ahead and put it in here because, you know, it's going in here eventually, so why not? Okay, here, open that up. I like to open it up before I'm going to go back and put it in there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Crinkle it up. Got our little cruffle. Popping it in. Give it a temporary twist. Go get our other piece of mesh. All right. Hopefully, I think I can see FB is looking good right now. Here we go. I am going to have some exciting news coming about perhaps another event. I presented an event last year that was online, and perhaps, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, perhaps it's going to happen again for Easter, for spring. No announcement coming from me yet, but it will be coming formally soon. Very excited about it. Those are always fun ways when you have online events like that where you get to watch multiple designers, because everyone's got their own style. So it's fun to watch how people, they might each do something, the same task, but they accomplish it different ways and get a different result. So it's always fun. Even when I've been making wreaths, I started making wreaths 10 years ago. This is my 9th year actually selling them. My 9th year on Etsy. I only took it seriously since like 2020. So, but it's always fun to get new inspiration watching other people. Okay, here we go. All right. Oh my gosh. I'm really liking this. It's funny when you envision putting together a kit in your head. Like, I will put it together in Canva. I'll take the pictures and I'll make sure everything looks like it matches. All right. And then I'll like order the stuff. But when I go to like make the wreath, it's really satisfying because it's like, yeah, this is looking exactly how I envisioned it in my mind. So that's fun. But some people struggle with that part. They're not sure what to put together with what. Does this go? Does it not? So that's why kits are a nice way, especially for someone who might be like a beginner wreath maker, to jump into the game, right? I love watching other people, but sometimes I was like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. That looks so, so involved or so over the top, and I don't think I could ever do that. And it turns out, yes, you can. It's trial and error. you know, and it takes time to learn, but you can. I firmly believe everybody can make a wreath. Like, not everybody can draw. I cannot draw to save my life. Not in the least. But I think everybody, if you can cut and you have two hands, then you can do this. There we go. I just love this mesh. I don't know. I got it at the warehouse sale last year, and I forgot I had it, and then I saw it in the garage, because all I saw sticking out was a beige end, and I thought it was Christmas mesh, but it was not. So I was very excited, and I thought this would be perfect for this. And I'm loving it. I'm not McDonald's. I eat enough of it, though. I'm starting to look like Grimace. I really gotta go on a diet again. 1, 2, 3. The reason we're curling this down too, and when you curl it, is because you see those cut sides, those cut ends, they're inside, they're secured, they're protected, so they're not going to fray as much, or maybe not at all. Right, so that's why we like to use the cruffle. Now, you can, let me show you what else some people do. If you don't want it as full, some people will actually turn this whole thing into they just do a giant curl, and you wouldn't have to necessarily cut it as long then, but you just do curls, and you could do that too. Or you can do 21-inch mesh and put a curl in the center, or 2 curls, right? So there's lots of different ways to go about it. It all depends what materials you have available, how much you want to spend too, obviously, and kind of like what look are you going for? Fat and fluffy, skinny, thin, but still wide. The width on the pancake wreaths make it still look full, which is nice. Okay, we got 2 spots left, my friends. 2 spots left. And I think one of the things I'm going to start doing on lives is going live and just showing product. Like, here's, because I've got lots of the greenery and ribbons now. I've got patriotic ribbon I just took all the pictures of last night, but I want to be able to go live and just show off, hey, here's the products that are now in my shop. You guys can take a look at it. I can unspool it. You can get a closer look, talk about how we would potentially use it. So not every live that I'm going to be doing going forward is going to be a wreath making. It keeps losing the signal, man. I don't know what's going on. I bought an extender and everything. Here we go. All right. The top, I got one more. And I am going to have extra white mesh because I have extra. I knew I was going to have extra pieces. But I'm going to save those. I'm going to just, I tossed all my extra stuff over in the corner. You can see I filed it away ever so carefully and so cautiously. I literally just flung it into the corner. Okay, so here's the last one for the white. And then here is the last one for the beige. So 1, 2, 3 up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3 down from the top. Go right up that center metal stripe. That's why I love having a striped mesh. It gives you the guidelines for where to gather it. Okay. Check it out. Here we go. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. So we still have 26 inches roughly, but then our depth is looking more like about 6.5, maybe 7 inches max. Okay. So that is how deep we are looking right now. All right. Now, next thing we're going to do is Linda's gonna sit down for this. Relaxing. I'm going to go get my ribbon tails, which I have already cut. And again, if you're just joining us, we have 2 2.5-inch ribbons and 1 1.5-inch ribbon. You can always add 2 of these if you wanted to. These are all cut at 14 inches, and then the ends are dovetailed, meaning we cut a V shape into the end of it, and then it keeps it from fraying and it makes it look really nice. Now I'm going to check some of my tails just to make sure I got a nice crisp end to it and fix it if I need to. But I'm going to put that, let's work this way this time. We're going to work this way, okay? So how are we going to have this? Well, the bottom one is going to be this pink. And I like this pink because it is the same pink that is in the ear. So it really picks that up. I love that. And then we're going to have that white on the top. Okay? So pink on bottom, then bunny, and then white. All right? I'm going to stack them. You know, your ends aren't going to be exact because we dovetailed it and all that. Just roughly so they're on top of each other. We're going to bend it in half. All right, so bend it and then make a crease, okay? Because this crease is going to tell us where we're going to gather it up. All right, so we're going to just gather it up just like that. Or if you wanted to make it easier, you can kind of go like that, that, and that. And then kind of pinch it together. That works as well. We're going to go open a spot right here on the bottom. I like to work on the bottom first, so we're going to open up these spots on the bottom, okay? Now I've opened it. You've noticed the mesh is not popping out, okay? It kind of learned where it needed to be. It kind of crushed it in the center to hold it, so I can open it up and nothing comes out of me. It's not like opening up that can of fake toffee and the snakes come out. No, that doesn't happen. Okay, here we go. Or when you undo the plastic off of one of those mattresses that you order online and then it just unfurls and flies at everybody. That's the best. I love those videos. We're going to separate this out. So the pink is going to come up, the white in the middle, and then the bunny, okay? And then the bunny is going to go up on the left. Pink and then white, okay? The reason I liked to do this this way is because bunny, we don't want bunny to look upside down, okay? So we like to keep bunny looking like that, all right? So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to pop this up, right? Push from behind so that it kind of like pops out, right? Here we go. Push from behind, pops out. There we go. All right. And I like that the white kind of like comes across as your divider. All right, so let's go back. Let's go on to the next one now, okay? So we're going to go that and that and that. All right. Pinchy in the middle. Pop it in here. I'm going to show you a different method on the next one too. Okay. Make sure that's fully centered. All right. Boom, boom, boom. White goes across. Pink comes down and up. It's a beautiful thing. And I don't cut these off. I just leave these because these are kind of decorative, right? So I don't do anything with those. I just leave them right there. If you want to twist them off, you want to push them into the back so you don't see them, you can do that as well. If you don't cut them too short though, because they could undo, right? So just maybe push it to the back, or you can get a little, if you want a plastic egg, you could get that too, and then you could just kind of glue that egg in there, or some jute tubing to kind of play around with that. But this kit does not come with anything like that, but you can always modify it to do whatever it is that you want it to do, okay? So I'm going to show you the initial method that I showed you, where we put them all on top of each other, and I'll show you kind of the difference in how that looks, okay? If we put it all on top of each other, and then we fold, right? And then we undo it, and then we're just going to pinch that in the middle. Okay, so you basically have one solid piece, one solid line. And if we put that in here, which we can do, okay, so we can still do the same thing, right? You just have to tug a little bit and really separate it out a little bit more, but you're still kind of getting the same thing. It's just, it tugs a little bit more in the center, takes a little bit more to get it moved around. So for this particular one, I'm going to try to kind of continue putting them in kind of like the X shape, right? But it does end up looking the same. Okay, so there on the top, you can kind of see the difference, but you get the same effect. It's just, you got to tug a little bit more maybe with the other method. But it's going to go the same way. It's going to be fine. It's all good, my friends. It is all good. Try to catch my comments. All right, and Carol, hello Carol and Ellen. Awesome, thanks for joining, guys. My go-to joke is, We know you have a choice in wreath makers, and we appreciate you choosing Sweet Aria Decor. All right, here we go. I'm going to make the X. Let's go with the X. Why not? All right, let's kind of pinch it down the middle. There we go. Put it in here. Pinching. All right. So my finished decor pieces, you see me making kits online, but the finished wreaths are also available for purchase. They will be listed at in my store. It is my business name that you're seeing right here on the live, plus how websites usually end. A period and those 3 letters at the end, you know which ones I'm talking about, right? Because if I put in links or if I mention the name, then all of a sudden it stops showing this live to lots of people. So that's not so good. So we don't want to do that. So I'm gonna just keep it on the down low, and then that way you kind of feel like you're in on a secret. Ooh, it's a secret website. No, it's not. It's not like an OnlyFans or something weird like that. Ooh, I shouldn't even mention that. Never mind. Never mind. We don't want to have a crafting version of that. No. I don't think people would pay for that. I don't think anybody wants to see that. No. Hot glue should not be used in that situation. No, no, no. All right. Here we go. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of adjusting. Make sure it looks all good. But I do like being able to use the 1.5 inch as well, because otherwise it might look a little thin in there, or like you can have your tails just coming down, which you can do, but I typically like that method only on a pancake, on a thin one. And I learned the pancake method from Coach Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. She is amazing. All right, here we go. Oh boy. The hands want to work. The brain is going faster than the hands will move. All right. Boom, boom, and boom. Pinch in the middle. All right. To me, the favorite part of making a wreath is the bow. So our bow is going to be nice and it's going to be fun. We don't have a lot of ribbon to work with because you've got full spools that came with this, but we did cut 18 tails. You can always decide to, instead of cutting tails, you can do cascades where it kind of just bubbles over and just kind of like creates like a big loop that goes from, like, you have a tail and then loop that would go over like 2 of these and then come out as another tail. That's an option as well. You don't always have to do tails. But I figure we'll do tails because the bunny's got tails. So, and now I'm singing the theme song to DuckTales in my head. I don't know why. Okay, here we go. Popping this in. Give it a good old twist. These are fun. Everybody's got their own favorite colors for Easter, but for me, it's always about pink and glittery. I like a little touch of yellow. I do like the lavender, the purple, you know, a little touch of that going on for the for Easter, but it's all about the pink. I love pink, obviously. Here we go. But I do have purple nails this time. Purple, purple. We went with a light lavender this time. I had hot pink in January, and I decided I needed to mix it up a little bit. All right. Good twist. All right. If you are watching this on a replay, you can fast forward to the part where we've got all the tails in. It's the same on the top as it is for the bottom. It's not any different. At least in the method that I'm showing you. You could always choose to do whatever you want. You can do different. It don't matter. It's your wreath. Do what you want. It's your wreath. Do what you want to do. There we go. I'll stop singing. Sorry, that was bad. Alright, and then here we go with the last one on the very bottom. Okay, so we're going to cross our pink glitter with the blue bunny. Alright, and I like the fact that we did this method because the bunny, if he's upside down, it bothers me. it doesn't bother everybody, but it bothers me. Like, I have to have things going the correct direction. We're going to have to pay extra attention to that when it comes time to make our bow. So we're going to have to do something a little extra, but it's worth it. It's worth all the extra. Okay. So here we go. That's on the bottom. They're all on the bottom, all finished. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to go onto the top. And again, like I said, you're going to find little stray hairs poking out. Snip them as you see them. Because if you don't do it when you're looking at it, you're not going to find it again when you go back. Trust me. You'll spend 10 minutes going, I know I saw one, and you won't find it until you go to take a picture of your wreath. And then you'll see it, and that's all you will see. You'll fix it. All right. Putting that on the top. Twist in. Here we go. I'm going to stand up so I can get a better view now. It was nice to have that little sitting break. Speaking of breaks, when you're wreath making, you know, not all of us are in the best health condition, so don't feel like you have to do everything all at once. You know, if you want to just put the mesh on one day and then deal with ribbons the next, no one is timing how long it is taking you to make a wreath, right? So be kind to yourself. If you want to take a break, take a break. It's not a race. Unless you're on a live and you're trying to fit your time into like an hour or less, which is sometimes what I have to do. Then it's a race. It's usually more like, can I get it done before my daughter walks in the door? Because I don't like to be live when she comes home. Because I don't know what kind of day she had, and she might come home and be yelling. So we don't want that. Nobody wants to hear that. All right, here we go. And I apologize to my TT friends over there. I don't have a device down here that's letting me see comments, so I apologize for that. But if you have any questions and you want to direct message me, please do that, and I will make sure I get back to answer those questions. Again, this kit is available at Sweet Aria Decor in my shop, and then you can put the 3 letters after the website that you normally would for any other site, if you know what I'm talking about. I can't say it, or I will get throttled. Which I may have already, because I'm not very careful. I like to break the rules. But then I only end up hurting myself. Who did you hurt, Linda? Who did you hurt? You hurt yourself. I did. But you know, every now and then, maybe I like a little pain. No, I don't. I don't. That's why I was in the massage chair previously before I came live, trying to get the knots out of my back. It's been the last week has been filled with a lot of emotional turmoil and tension. For those of you who follow me, you know what's going on, or what happened. So I'm just trying to get through the next few days. My poor daughter, who's been through the ringer, she threw her back out and has been in a lot of pain, so I feel really bad because there's nothing I can really do to help her. The older one, like the one that's going to be 29, not the 12-year-old. No, she was kind of down with the stomach bug today, so. So I told her earlier, I'm like, she could go online. I let her go online just a little bit, but I was like, if you were too sick to go to school, you are too sick to play games online, my friend. So I worry about her. She hasn't been eating very well. She's on the spectrum, and her diet is not varied. Let me say it that way. She eats like me. Beige, bland food dipped in ketchup. I'm not the best example. But I'm going to try. Here we go. But looking at this kit, it makes me want jelly beans. Right? With just the different sparkly and stuff. Oh, I like this one. This is really turning out so cute. And we are almost done. This is our second to last set of ribbon tails. Okay, not much more to go. We're almost there, my friends. We're almost there. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, here comes the last ribbon tail. All right. Tammy from Georgia. Hello, hello. I hope it is warm down there. I talked to my in-laws. Well, I don't think it was last Sunday. I think it was the before, and they were saying it was a bit of a cold snap, that it was going into the 70s. I was like, oh gosh, trade. But it was 29 here today, I think, so this wasn't too bad. All right, so here is the last. So all of our ribbon tails are currently in here now. We got 18 sets of ribbon tails came in. Okay, so here's everything. Here's how that all went. All right, we are good. We are good. The next thing we want to talk about is putting on the sign. Now, let me get my stuff, and we're going to talk 2 different methods on doing a sign. We'll talk one way and then another option. So the first option is to use these cable tie mounts. Okay, so they're plastic. They have an adhesive on here, so you would undo the adhesive. Okay, it's important to take off the paper, because I did not when I did it a couple times and I felt like an idiot. And then we would use, where is my glue? We would use, pardon my reach. Okay, so you'd have the foam off. E6000, it is, or super glue. Okay, these are my favorite glues. I like E6000, but you would put it on here the size of a pea, okay, on either side, and we'd put it on the sign and we would attach it that way. Now, we'd have to figure out, how do we want the sign situated? So when I do this, I like to have my square signs down at the bottom right corner of the wreath. So I would be putting, if you're looking at your wreath, so this is kind of 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I would be putting this down at 3 and 6, okay? So my cable tie mounts would go here and here. Okay, I would put the E6000 on there, put that on there, flip it over, and then go around it with your hot glue gun, right? You're going to go around the edges to hold that on there. That's going to hold it just temporarily while the E6000 cures, because it takes like a day, all right? So if you want to do your sign before you make your wreath, that's always a good option as well. So that is one option on how to attach it. And then your pipe cleaners will go through here and then attach it to the wreath, all right? The method I like to use is a bit more secure, and it uses my friend Mr. Staple Gun, okay? So we have this tube, and I like to cut 4 1-inch squares, okay? So I'm just going to cut, I'm just going to go up, all right? Then I'm going to go over again. So there's a mesh tube that's going to come inside your rolls of mesh, so you can use that, okay? And then I'm just going to cut. Let me go up there. Yeah, let me bend it up here. All right, there we go. I just kind of ripped it off. I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, my staples are a little bit longer than the sign is deep, so if I staple these right on, it's going to come through the front of the sign. This is why I need these pieces of cardboard, because that's going to help keep your pipe cleaner from, and the staple from going through, and it's going to hold that pipe cleaner on good. Okay. Some people will put the pipe cleaners in between here as well. I like to put it on right on the back. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is cut off the rope. We don't need the jute rope. Gone. All right. I've got them in each corner now. Okay. Right here and down here. When I flip it over, it's gonna equal to the 3 and 9 o'clock positions. Okay, so it's gonna take this. I like to go up and down. Center the pipe cleaner on here, and then push down, because this was a roll, so we want to flatten that cardboard, and then go 1, 2, boom, boom, boom. All right. All right, and 1 pipe cleaner should be enough to get it around the signs. We're only putting this around the top ring, okay? So here we go. We're going to put this, I'm going to put it down at 6 o'clock first. So I'm going to go, right here is a spot. You already see the gap, okay? This is where the tie is. Go on either side of that, because your path is already made for you, right? Follow the path that's already there, and then just kind of put it through that first ring. Now I'm going to put my hand under the ring and grab that pipe cleaner that's coming through underneath the bottom. All right, grab that there. Grab the one coming over the top. Of course it's getting stuck. There we go. My finger got stuck in the wreath ring. Ouch. All right, I'm going to push it down a little bit. I'm not going to squish the heck out of it, but enough where it's going to be tight. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I am around rings 1 and 2 on the wreath. Okay, I'm going to flip it over when I'm done. I will show you what I did. Okay, but I'm just going to put it around those rings, and now I'm twisting my pipe cleaner together. Okay. All right, I'm going to go here. This is the 3 o'clock position. Okay, I'm going to go on that side, and then this is going to come through over here. I'm not going through the mesh. I'm just going on either side of the cruffles that are already there. I don't like to pierce the mesh. All right. All right, I'm going to flip this over. So now you can see, this is what I've done. It's on either side of, there's ring 1 and ring 2 and ring 3. I'm on the top of ring 1 and underneath ring 2. Okay. So I'm going to bring it together. I'm going to twist it at the point where the pipe cleaners meet the metal wreath ring. And I'm just going to twist it. Okay. And then you can just kind of take the end and just wrap it back around the top of that wreath ring. Okay. That's what I did over there. It's what I'm going to do over here. I like to not snip it, because if I decide I want to move the sign, then I don't have to reattach those pipe cleaners. And they're in there, they're on there, it's not going to scratch anything. And when we flip it over, we now have, ooh, look what we have, a sign. Now I'm going to try to grab the tails that are underneath the sign, like there's a bunny head and stuff. Pull them out. If it's underneath there and they're being hidden, pull them out. It adds a little extra pop of color, gives you that coverage. Here we go, right? I like to do that. Let me go get this one. Let's retrieve this one. I've got a pink I can pull in. And there should be a blue one up here. Here we go. Bring them out. Yeah, they might look a little upside down, but I'd rather see the color than to not have it, okay? Here we go. All right, so our sign is on. All right, it looks just like this. All right, here's our sign. We're going to put our bow at the top left. So when I'm looking at it again, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the bow is going to go at, well, I guess what's between 9 and 12? It's going to go at 10:30. It's just kind of like this one right here. So we're going to make a bow for that. I'm going to move the wreath off to the side, because for this, I use a bow maker, okay? No shame in that. I have tendon issues with my hands. Most people do. All right, so we're gonna make a bow. Now I have a pipe cleaner that's going to be used to secure all this and attach it. So we're going to start with the pink, and then the bunny, and then the white on top. So I'm taking my pink. I like to start with the dovetail. I'm just weird. Okay. We're going to see how big of a bow we can make with the amount. Let's take this off. With the amount that we have left. Let's take off this top of the spool. I want you to see how much we have left. That's how much we have left. Okay. That's a significant amount. It's pretty good. All right. My tail for this, I want it to come down. I'm bringing the wreath back. I'm bringing Wreathy back. Yeah. Because I want to see, let's hold up the tail. Let's figure out how long of a tail we want when we've got it up here. All right. We're going to have loops coming out that way. I don't want anything interfering with the writing on the sign. Okay. So we got to have that tail come down, but I think we're going to do a tail like that. This is a tail that is about 15 inches when you go right down to where it's dovetailed. Okay. So that's 15 inches. Come on, sweet baby. You're going to go over there. Oh, I'm knocking things all over. Knocking things over. All right. 15-inch tail. Now on the left hand, I'm going to pinch and twist, okay? And then push down so that we're looking, this is the back side of the ribbon, okay? You can tell there's a definite difference with the shine. This is the back. I'm going to bring it over. We're going to have a 7-inch loop. And I'm going to pinch and twist on the right-hand side. Okay, so I'm going to push down, and then I'm going to pinch and twist it so that I'm looking on the right-hand side at the back of that ribbon. I'm going to bring it over, make a 6-inch loop, like push it down in there. We're going to make another set of loops, okay? Pinch and twist again, bring it over, Okay. And make sure that that looks roughly aligned. And pinch and twist on the right hand side. So I'm bringing it over and looking at the back. Wow, I just made it. Just made that. Maybe do a little bit less of a tail. Maybe do like a 14-inch tail, right? Because I went right to the very, very end. Okay. And look at how close that is. So I'm probably gonna end up taking a little bit off of the other one too, just because I want to end it at a good spot on the ribbon. So I'm gonna go. So we're gonna end up do a 14-inch tail. Okay, 14-inch tail, 7-inch loops. Okay. So now these are stacked on top of each other. This tail was down here, so we want this loop to come up. Okay, so on the right, the top loop is on the upper right, then the bottom right. Then the other side, we're going to do that one comes down, and then the bottom one comes up. Okay? So again, like we did before when we were putting the tails in, we're thinking X shape, okay? So here's the base. Isn't that pretty? That is so pretty. There we go. Sparkly pink. Now here is where you have to add in a little bit extra thought, my friends, because how much do we have left of him? Not a whole heck of a lot. Well, it's exactly the same amount we had on the pink, but he's directional, right? He has a face that is facing a certain way. So what I do, okay, I can't, if I start that way, it's going to look weird. I dovetail. Okay, dovetail. I'm going to start up the top here. If this was 7 inches, I'm going to have a 6-inch that's going to hit at 6 inches. Okay, pinch and twist. We're going to make one loop that is going to be at 6 inches. Okay, and then our tail is going to come down. So we're going to have a small tail up, a loop, and then a tail down. Okay, we're going to cut this about 1 inch up, so this would be a 13-inch tail roughly. Yep, 13-inch tail. Okay. All right. So we have half of this layer done. Okay. You see that the blue went right between the pink. Now we're going to do the same thing, but on the other side. So we're going to start from the left, going down to the right. Sorry, I have to get my scraps out of the way. OCD kicks in. I can't help it. Okay. Again, we're going to have 6-inch, but roughly it can kind of just hit the same spot as that. But then just double check, make sure they look good. Maybe I'll bring this up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Pinch and twist, and then we're going to make a 6-inch loop on this side. Okay, 6-inch loop, and then bring this down. If you wanted to, I think that there is enough on here. You could have made perhaps another extra set of loops if you wanted to, but I don't think we need that because we already have quite a bit of this ribbon in there. But then okay, so we have our little tops, our little bunnies to the side. They're not upside down. And then, see, our bunnies are all facing the same way. Yes, nobody's upside down. All right, now we're going to do our white one. And this is going to kind of mimic the pink, except a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to start down here. And I'm going to leave about 1 inch. So this should be about a 12-inch tail. Yep, 12 inches. Pinch and twist. Even if it looks, well, hey, the ribbon looks the same, it's the seams that are different. So there is definitely a back, even if it doesn't look like it at first. Okay. We're going to make a 5-inch loop. Okay. 5-inch loop. Pinch and twisted. A 5-inch loop over here. Pinch and twisted. 5-inch loop. Pinch and twisted. 5-inch loop, pinch and twisted. Now don't cut yet. We're going to do something different. We're going to make one more 5-inch loop over on the left. Okay, 5-inch loop, pinch. Right hand side, we're going to have a loop that is about, oh, what is that? That is about 2.5 inches or so. Okay, this is going to be a bigger loop in the middle. 2.5 inches. Then bring it down. We've used almost all of it. I like to cut just past here, okay? And then we dovetail, and it should be pretty much the same. All right. Now we're going to take, hold on to this, take this middle one and bring that up to the center. Okay, then we're going to go that way and that way. Little center loop, and then that one's going to come up and going to come down. So this is going to go between every spot, right between the blue. Okay? All right. That, my friends, is how you use literally every last inch of ribbon on there. Here we go. I'm going to take this whole thing up. Bring it all up. Okay. Pinching it nice and tight. Getting my, where'd my pipe cleaner go? It's on the floor. The pipe cleaner is on the floor. Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm going to poke it through. See how it comes up between my fingers? Bring it around. All right. I like to just push it. I just put it down. Set it down. Okay. Get a nice, good, tight pinch. All right. We've done that 2 or 3 times. All right. Bring these down. So we're going to run your finger down the wires. So you might have to do it on either side, but that's going to give it this really nice curl shape. All right. This one's going to come up. We're going to fluff. We will fluff it more once we actually get it all the way on our wreath. But there, isn't that so cute and sweet? Here's our bow. Here's our bow. Bring that to the center. There we go. All right. Bow maker is going to go behind me. Thank you, Easy Bows Design Pro. Link in my profile, affiliate link in my profile. All right. Here comes Easter Bunny. All right. So remember, we said we're going to post it at the, there's one like between 9 and 12. Okay, right there. We're calling it 10:30. It's not 10, it's not 11, it's kind of between. All right, I'm going to rotate this around. Like I did with the sign, I'm just going to go right over the same spot that was already here. Okay. I'm just going to go right through that. I call it the butt crack, okay, because there's already, it looks like it's like a butt crack between the mesh. It looks like a butt. All right, and I'm bringing that through. All right, you want to make sure that you're getting that pipe cleaner over at least one of the rails. Now, with just one pipe cleaner on the bow, it might be a little harder. Okay, I'm gonna do this, but here we go. I'm just gonna put it through that one rail, and I'm just gonna do the same thing. Twist it against the rail, and then just twist, twist, twist. Don't, if you just got one piece of pipe cleaner, don't cut it. All right, just kind of bend it back into the wreath. All right. Now, we have to watch where we put our loops because we don't want to interfere with any of the writing on the sign. So you might have to tilt it a little bit. Okay. My dog is barking. I don't know why. Okay. Here we go. That center loop is going to, little one's going to come to the center. That middle one that was on the left came up to the center point there. Okay. It's kind of following where the pink was, except not in the back here because we didn't have enough for that. All right. But then here we go. Here we go, friends. This is the Happy Easter wreath. This is so cute. I love it. It's so fun. I love the pink. I love it how glittery it is. I don't love that my dog is barking. She never barks. All right. But here we go. It's so cute. It is perfect for Easter. There we go, my friends online there. You can see that's our finished wreath over there, over here. So again, we are at 26 inches wide, but once we get the bow on, we are looking at a depth of probably 10 inches, right? So definitely not for a storm door, but you can always hang this outside your storm door. What you can do is you get one of those suction wreath cups like that you get from Christmas, right? But you go upside down with the hook, right? So then you can hook something onto here. So you'd have something on the top holding your wreath at the top, and then you would have it like the suction cup hook would be on the bottom, so then it won't swing side to side. Helpful hints. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. And if you purchased this kit, I hope you had as much fun making it as I had making this one. I really appreciate it. And there are lots of kits available in my shop. There's lots of greenery, lots of ribbon. Go check it out, because making your own home decor sometimes just makes it extra special, right? Because you know you made it. So they make great gifts as well. Make it as a hostess gift when you go off to Easter. All right. Thank you so much, my friends.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on social media, and you can shop my items at sweetariadecor.com.